So the idea of 7 Good Minutes came in the funniest moment for me. I'm watching ESPN and I'm watching PTI, which stands for Pardon the Interruption, which is kind of funny that was where I got this idea of uninterrupted curiosity from a show that's called Pardon the Interruption. That's true. And they have a segment in this show on ESPN where these two guys bring on a third party, coach, an athlete, some stud, and they have 5 good minutes where for 5 minutes all the two of them do is they have this third person on the TV typically, sometimes in the studio, but most of the time they're on the TV, and these two guys just interview him. All they do is ask him curious questions. Tell me, coach, why you ran this play, or tell me why you think this year is going to be a good year, or whatever they want to know about this person, and they have a clock going in the background. 5 minutes, all they do, this guy just has to sit there and wait for whatever they bring, and they do it the way we do 7 Good Minutes. And I was watching this going, 5 good minutes, I like that. And I just read a book which says the average American married couple talks for 14 minutes a day. And so I'm like, well, that's not 5 good minutes, that's 14. And I'm like, 7 good minutes. So what we'll do is we'll do the 14 that the American couple on average talk. We'll break it down into 7 good minutes, where for 7 minutes I just want to be curious about you, my loved one, knowing that in 7 minutes you're going to be curious about me. And so it's going to be like a fair exchange. Like, I'm not going to just pour myself into you. I will, but I know, because of the way our brains are wired, that if I do that and I don't know that you're going to reciprocate, I might start to think, like, hey, I know you, but you don't know me. And so we were going to go both directions. It'd be like if they did 5 good minutes and then the coach got to turn around but that's a TV show.
So how do you do it?
So the way you do it, following that, is you just start with whatever you're curious about. One question that I truly wanted to learn about you. And don't make it like a difficult one. Make it one question that's something I want to learn about you, but that wouldn't be like intrusive. That would not put you on your heels. It would be a question that would be like a layup, not a 3-pointer. So you start with something easy, like Derp. You've been in this thing for 20 years now, and you started it when you were in school. Tell me about, like, how did you make the decision to, like, work on something like this when you were a kid? And so I'm curious about that, because I know that story, but I love that story, and if I didn't know it, I'd want to know it. And then whatever you tell me, if I'm the one asking the question, all I have to do is ask one good question that I really want to know the answer to. And then whatever you offer me, there'll be plenty more. So just relax, ask the question, free your brain from thinking ahead, listen to what Derp or whomever your target is. What do they tell you? And then have them tell you more.
So I'm curious, I need your biggest, what's the biggest takeaway that when you watch teams do it, and the feedback that you always get that people love about it, and then what do you always see? Why do people struggle with it so bad? Because I watch people turn it inward and start talking about themselves.
Oh, all the time.
And the directions are, don't talk about yourself, don't turn it inward, don't respond to what they're saying because of what it makes you think. And it's, people hear the directions, but they still can't do it.
Oh, right. So what's your question?
The question, first one is like, what's the feedback you get when people get done doing it in team practice? Like, what's the feeling?
When I ask people, first thing I do when we're, like, it's the very first time that they've done 7 good minutes, like with a new team, I'll just say, please write down, how did it feel? And the overwhelming thing is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I remember hearing people talk about how, I've worked with you for over 2 years, right, and I didn't know who you were, and they learned in 7 minutes what they didn't know.
Right. Profound. So the biggest thing is it feels great that I hear, and that point, and it's just like we get overwhelmed with busyness, just like married couples do. And we just think most 7 minutes between married couples is about, hey, I'm busy, I know you've been busy, the kids have to get to soccer, and I've got frickin' 15 emails I've got to do, so I need to figure out how we're going to get all this shit done between now and dinner time. And it's not about like getting to know you.
Yeah. Well, and I remember just as someone who's growing the company, I have a lot of transactional conversations with people, and it's a lot of walking through and saying hi to people and checking in, or someone popping in my office. But when you get a full 7 minutes to actually go deeper,
Right.
you get deeper on the second question. So you're in it like right away, and the information you learn, you'll never get in any transactional conversations outside. So it's a special bonding moment that I've watched people. They smile, they get excited, and they always, doesn't matter how many times we've done it, we've done it.
Oh my
At least,
gosh.
I mean, I don't know how many practices we've done them in.
How many of you and
It doesn't
I
get old.
Yeah.
It doesn't get old. It's fun.
Right.
So, for new people, it's fun. We're going to set people up on day one, doing 7 good minutes, practicing it, and trying to get not only to know a new teammate, but for a new teammate to be able to get into someone's head here and learn about them. It's going to be really special to be able to share that with people. So, thank you.
Oh, so good.
Great gift.
So the other thing that I always tell people for another impetus for practicing 7 good minutes, there's 3 ways, according to all the latest neuroscience, which by the way, we're learning more about the brain every day, like unbelievable what we're learning. And with all this new learning, there's still only basically 3 ways for you to juice your brain. That's it. One is, if you want to get into flow, which is the state of optimal performance for your brain, flow, when you're just like doing your work and you're not thinking about anything, you're just lost in it, your brain is firing on all cylinders, if you will. So if you love your work, like you love your work, and if you get lost in it, time just is gone. And your brain is firing all the right chemicals through there to say, Chad's on fire today. We need to really just let him have it. All right? That juices your brain. That builds neural networks, as we know, that now, if you find yourself in flow doing your work, the brain is going to enhance that performance. It's going to feed you, if you will, because it's doing what it's meant to do, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is if I had a really good book, like I was just talking to our cameraman about a book. If I had a really good book that I was reading right now, and I was lost in the book because I'm learning stuff that I care about learning, it's feeding my brain, and I'm like mastering my craft through reading this book, or mastering my ability to relate to you better through reading this book. I could be lost in that book, lose track of time, all the right chemicals go into my brain, and I'll start to retain a lot more of that book learning because my brain is juiced, right? So reading a really good, rich, meaningful, challenging book that feeds you in a way you want to be fed, juices your brain. Second way. You know the third way? Being lost in a conversation with someone you love. That's what we're doing right now. And so when you get to practice 7 good minutes where you're really starting to be understood by a teammate, or you're really starting to understand a teammate, your brain goes, this is freaking magic.
Which is why no one knows the time. Whenever you ask people
Right.
how long you think you've gone, they never know.
They never know. And they never notice that I always cheat. I always do almost double on one of them.
Right.
And they go, well, I think the first one, no, it wasn't.
Lost.
Because you're lost. Your brain is in flow. And so, like, it's very difficult to find flow in your work because you have to love it. And most people don't love their work. Most people, their work enables them for something else they love, like their family or a hobby. Some people around here do love it because of what you've built. But most places out in the world of work, they don't sit there and go, I'm in flow at work.
Right. No chemistry.
No. But
It's competition.
it's competition.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which creates fear, which creates burnout, and people not liking where they work.
Yeah. So this is such a great gift. And they don't even know it. Now they will if they watch this video. But if they get into 7 good minutes and experience flow, but when they go back to the phones, their brain is still juiced.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually now going to be better when they go back to their job. Same thing if they read a book at home that is juicing their brain, they're going to be better with their family. They'll be more present. Their brain will be like, oh, this is good. It's just hysterical how really basic and simple it is.
Mm-hmm.